I bet you all are wondering about the new security badges to get into the dorms. Well, at the college last spring there was an incident. There was a freshman named Peggy and her roommate Bev. Peggy had commandeered the room in the basement of the dorm. It was an old bomb shelter, but the students had converted it to a hangout room many years ago. She realized she would have to pull an all-nighter in order to prepare for tomorrow's final. Her roommate, Bev, was going to bed early after partying all day at a rather trashy frat house. So Peggy packed up everything she thought she would need and went downstairs to study, and study, and study some more. It was about 2 o'clock when she realized that she'd left one of the textbooks upstairs on her bed. Damn. She rose and climbed the stairs slowly to their third-floor dorm. The lights were dim in the long hallway, and the old boards creaked under her weary tread. She reached her room and turned the handle as softly as she could, pushing the door open just enough to slip inside so that the hall lights wouldn't wake her roommate. The room was filled with a strange metallic smell. She frowned and her arms broke out into chills. There was a strange feeling in the room. It's as if a malevolent gaze were fixed upon her. Stupid, she thought, and it's just a mind trick. The all-nighter in the bomb shelter catching up with her. She could hear Bev breathing on the far side of the room after all. A heavy sound, almost as if she'd been running. All that partying serves her right. Bev must have picked up a cold. Of course, it would be the last week of finals. Peggy crept along the wall until she reached her bed, groping among the covers for the stray GIS textbook. In the silence, she could hear a steady drip, drip, drip. She sighed. Great. Just great. Facilities would have to come fix the sink again. Her fingers closed on the textbook, and she picked it up softly and withdrew from the room as silently as she could, relieved to be out of the room, and hurried back downstairs. There she collapsed into an overstuffed chair and studied until 6 o'clock, her eyes burning and her head throbbing. She tossed the textbook down. That's it. Enough is enough. If I don't know it now, I never will. She debated what to do. If she slipped upstairs now, she could get a couple hours sleep before 9 o'clock exam. Yeah, that's what I need. She packed the books and started dragging herself back up the stairs. About halfway up, she passed a guy coming down who smacked her on the ass. Jerk! She spun around to cuss him out, but he was already gone. The bloody nerve! Tired and now angry, she trudged to her room. The first of the sun's rays were beaming through the windows. She slowly slid the door open, hoping not to wake Bev. It wasn't Bev's fault there was a pig in the stairways, though she really wanted someone to complain to. Peggy's nose was met by an earthly metallic smell again. A second later, her eyes registered the scene in her dorm. Bev was spread eagle on top of her bed, against the far wall, her throat cut, ear to ear, and her nightdress stained with blood. 2 drops fell from the saturated blanket. Drip, drip. Scream after scream poured from her mouth, and she couldn't stop any more than she could cease wringing her hands. All along the hallway, doors slammed, and footsteps came running down the passage. Within moments, other students had gathered in her doorway, and one of her friends gripped her arm with a shaking hand and pointed a trembling finger toward the wall. Her eyes widened in shock at what she saw. Then she fainted into her friend's arms. On the wall above her bed, written in her roommate's bloods, were the words, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" The blood also turned out to match the handprint on the seat of Peggy's jeans.